I have to ask you something kind of personal to start this off.
Uh-oh. Okay, go for it.
When you are going through it, I mean, really going through a bad breakup or a betrayal or maybe just a terrible week, what does your Spotify look like?
Oh, I mean, it's bad. It is a total wallow playlist.
Yeah.
Just incredibly sad.
Right. Because I was looking at my on repeat from last year, and it is humiliating.
Yeah.
It is just wall-to-wall sad songs. It's like I'm trying to drown myself in minor chords.
Oh, completely. We all do it. You just want something that matches the frequency of your pain, you know?
Yes.
It's catharsis. You cry, you scream in the car, and you feel understood for like 3 minutes.
Exactly. You feel understood. But here is the problem I always run into. The song ends, and I'm still sad. I am just sad with the soundtrack now.
Yeah. That is usually how it works. We turn to music to feel things, not necessarily to fix anything.
Right. But, and this is a big but, what if a pop song could actually teach you how to think?
Teach you how to think.
Yeah. And I don't mean just, think positive thoughts. I mean, what if a track could give you the instructions to physically rewrite your biology and actually stop the pain loop?
I mean, that sounds like a massive overpromise, doesn't it? Like a late-night infomercial or something.
It really does. But that is exactly what we are looking at today. We're doing a deep dive into a track called The Science of Letting Go. It's by the artist Ti-Fi.
And we're not just critiquing the beat here.
No, not at all. We aren't just looking at the production. We actually got our hands on the writer's room breakdown for this track.
Which is fascinating.
It is.
Yeah.
This is a document where the artist strips away the music entirely to explain the clinical framework behind every single line.
And that's what makes this deep dive so unique. Usually art and science are on, well, opposite sides of the room. Art is messy and emotional. Science is cold, hard facts.
Right.
But this project bridges that gap. It's using a catchy hook to smuggle in what therapists call psychoeducation.
Psychoeducation. Okay, I feel like I should be taking notes already. What does that actually mean in this context?
Yeah. So it's a foundational concept in therapy. The basic idea is that you cannot heal from trauma or anxiety or chronic stress if you don't understand the mechanics of what is happening to you.
If you don't know how the machine works, you can't fix it.
Exactly. The song is basically arguing that before you can let go, you have to understand the anatomy of holding on.
So let's get into that anatomy. The song opens with a realization that I think everyone listening has felt.
Oh, for sure.
Even if they couldn't put words to it.
Yeah.
The lyrics are, I cracked the code, I read the book today, found out why I've been feeling this way. It's not a curse, it's not a spell, it's just a story that I know too well.
It's not a curse. I want to just pause right there because that is such a heavy realization. Think about when you are deep in a grudge. It feels external, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It feels like a possession. Like, why is this happening to me?
Yes.
It really feels like the universe has singled you out to be the betrayed person. It feels like something being done to you.
Precisely. You feel like the victim in a horror movie, but the artist flips it immediately. They say, it's just a story that I know too well. And in the breakdown, they link this directly to the psychological concept of schemas.
Schemas. Okay, I've heard that term floating around, Instagram therapy and stuff. But break it down for us. What is a schema in the context of a breakup?
Think of a schema like an operating system script running in the background of your computer. You don't see the code, but it dictates how everything functions.
Okay.
These are patterns of thinking and behavior that are usually written when we are children.
So give me an example of that. If I get dumped, that's just an event. Where does the schema actually come in?
Okay, let's say as a kid you had a parent who is inconsistent or maybe absent. You might develop an abandonment schema.
Right.
Fast forward 20 years. You're 30 years old and a partner leaves you. You aren't just reacting to that one breakup in the present day. Your brain effectively highlights that old code and says, see, everyone I love leaves me. This is the universal truth.
Wow. So the intensity of the grief isn't even about the ex. That's about the script.
The X is just the trigger. The script provides the reaction. That is why it feels like a curse, because it feels inevitable.
Yeah.
But the moment you name it, the moment Ti-Fi sings, I cracked the code, you shift your perspective. You stop being the character acting out the scene, and you become the director watching the footage.
You detach. You can sort of step back and say, oh, I know this movie, and I hate this movie.
Exactly. You observe the pattern instead of drowning in it. But as the song points out, observing it is the easy part. Stopping it is where it gets messy.
Right.
Which leads us to the pre-chorus. It describes what happens when we don't step back.
And this is the part that called me out personally. The lyrics are, I was looping the tape, playing the track, but knowing how it works means I can take it back. Loving the tape. I mean, be honest. How many times have you replayed an argument in your head while you're in the shower?
Oh, countless times. I have won so many arguments in the shower that I lost in real life.
Right. You come up with the perfect comeback 3 days later, and you just keep hitting rewind, play, rewind, play.
And the clinical term for that is rumination. It's the compulsive focus on distress.
It feels like we're trying to solve it, though. That's why I do it anyway. I feel like if I think about it enough, I'll find the answer.
That is the trap. Your brain is a problem-solving engine. It thinks, if I replay the scenario enough times, I will figure out how to fix it or how to prevent it from happening again.
Makes sense.
But the writer's room breakdown highlights that this is a misguided attempt. You aren't fixing anything. In fact, biologically, you are doing physical damage.
Damage, like actual brain damage.
In a sense, yes. The breakdown quotes a famous axiom in neuroscience. Neurons that fire together wire together.
Neurons that fire together, wire together. I want to understand this because it sounds incredibly catchy, but what does it actually mean for my brain structure?
Visualize your brain like a really dense forest. The first time you have a thought, let's say, I am unlovable. It's like walking through thick underbrush. It's hard, and the path is faint.
Okay.
But if you think that thought every hour, if you loop the tape for days on end, you are trampling that grass, you are cutting down the trees. Eventually, you pave a 6-lane highway.
So I'm literally building a super highway in my brain dedicated to making me feel miserable.
You are optimizing your brain for depression. You are making it effortless for your neurons to travel that specific path. And here's the kicker. Your brain doesn't really know the difference between a high-definition memory and current reality.
Wait, really?
Really. When you replay the betrayal, your body releases stress chemicals as if it is happening right now.
That is terrifying. So I'm sitting on my couch, totally safe, but my body thinks I'm back in the fight.
Exactly. But this is where the hope comes in. The lyric says, knowing how it works means I can take it back. This refers to cognitive diffusion.
Diffusion, like diffusing a bomb.
Similar vibe. It's the realization that you are holding the remote control. When you catch yourself on that superhighway, you can say, wait, I'm looping. I'm firing and wiring. Just realizing that gives you the agency to press stop.
I love the idea of just pressing stop.
Yeah.
But we have to be real here. It is so hard to do. It feels satisfying to be angry. It feels righteous.
It does.
But the song gives us a really good reason to press stop. And it uses a metaphor we've all heard, but it gives it this biological twist.
The poison metaphor.
Yes. The chorus goes, I was drinking the poison expecting you to fall, but I am the only one who felt it at all. We've all heard the quote. Holding a grudge is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. But Ti-Fi makes it medical.
They really do. They take it from a philosophical idea to a physiological fact. The breakdown explicitly lists blood pressure and cortisol.
Okay, let's talk about cortisol. We hear about it all the time as the stress hormone. But what is it actually doing to me when I'm holding a grudge?
Think of cortisol as the body's alarm system. It's meant for short bursts, run from the tiger, survive the fire.
Right.
But when you hold a grudge, you are keeping that alarm ringing 24/7. You are essentially marinating your organs in stress hormones. This suppresses your immune system, it destroys your sleep quality, it messes with your digestion, and it creates chronic anxiety.
So while I'm sitting there fuming at my ex, imagining them realizing what a huge mistake they made.
They are probably out having pizza with friends. They are sleeping fine. Their cortisol levels are completely normal.
That is the worst part. They're eating pizza, and I am destroying my immune system.
You are the only one drinking the poison. You're the only one absorbing the toxicity.
Hearing it put that way really reframes what forgiveness is. I think I resist forgiveness. I know a lot of listeners do too, because it feels like laughing.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm saying, what you did is okay. And I don't want to give them that satisfaction.
That is the crucial distinction the expert commentary makes here. And this is the part that usually blows people's minds. In this framework, forgiveness is completely selfish.
Selfish forgiveness. I kind of like the sound of that.
It has nothing to do with the other person. It isn't about morality. It isn't about being a good person. It is an act of self-preservation. You aren't forgiving them to let them off the hook. You are forgiving them to stop the cortisol drip.
You're doing it to save your own life.
Literally. The lyrics say, I'm saving my heart, I'm saving my head. The source connects this to radical acceptance, which is a concept from dialectical behavior therapy, or DBT.
Radical acceptance. That sounds intense.
It's practical. Radical acceptance doesn't mean you like the reality. You can hate it. You can think it's unfair. But you stop fighting the fact that it occurred.
Right.
You accept the reality so you can stop the internal war. You pour out the poison not because you want to be nice to the enemy, but because you want to stop dying.
That is such a powerful shift. It changes forgiveness from a gift you give them to a medical procedure you do for yourself.
Yes.
But let's play devil's advocate again. If holding a grudge is so poisonous, if it's biologically bad for us, why do we do it? If we are evolved to survive, why does my brain want to hold on to the anger so badly?
That is the million-dollar question. If evolution is so smart, why did it give us grudges? And the song pivots in the second verse to answer exactly that. It stops scolding you for being angry and asks, what is the amber doing for you?
The lyrics here are really beautiful. It sits like a shield to protect the soft parts deep within. I used to think that may be weak, but now I see it's just the safety I seek.
This brings us to a framework called Internal Family Systems, or IFS. It's a therapy model that suggests our personality isn't just one solid block. It's made up of different parts, and some of those parts are protectors.
Protectors. So my anger isn't a flaw, it's a bodyguard.
It is a sentry at the gate. Think about it. You got hurt, your brain registered a massive threat to your emotional safety, so it deployed a part of you, anger, to stand guard and make sure no one ever gets close enough to hurt you again.
That actually makes me feel a lot better about my bitterness. We beat ourselves up, right? We think, I'm so weak, why can't I just get over it? But you're saying my brain is actually trying to be strong for me.
It's a survival mechanism. It's misguided, maybe, but it's trying to help. And this is why just choosing to let go by force often fails. If you try to rip the shield away before your brain feels safe, your nervous system panics. It feels defenseless.
So how do you fire the bodyguard without the panic? Because if I just tell it to go away, the anger usually just gets louder.
Right, because the sentry thinks you're being reckless. The song suggests a different approach, based on somatic experiencing. The lyric is, I can thank the anger for doing its job, but the war is over.
But the war is over. That gives me chills.
It's about negotiation. You don't fight the anger. You talk to that internal sentry. You say, hey, thank you. You did a great job protecting me when I was under attack. I really appreciate it.
You validate the feeling. You don't judge it.
Exactly. You validate it. But then you deliver the news. The threat is gone. You have to convince your nervous system that the battle has ended. This allows your body to shift gears biologically. You move from the sympathetic state, that's the fight or flight adrenaline mode, into the parasympathetic state.
Which is the rest and digest mode.
Yes. You are transitioning from a war zone to peacetime. You aren't just thinking, I'm safe. You are signaling to your biology, your heart rate, your muscle tension, that it is safe to put down the weapon.
It's surprisingly compassionate.
Yeah.
You aren't fighting yourself. You're thanking yourself and then retiring the guard.
And that retirement leads to the bridge of the song, which I think is actually the most realistic part of the whole track.
Oh, the maintenance bridge. I love this. The lyrics are, I'm not a martyr, I'm not a saint, I'm just painting over the peeling paint.
I love this because it destroys the Instagram version of healing. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally. The glow up. We feel like if we heal, we have to perform this enlightenment for everyone. We have to be the bigger person looking chic and unbothered.
Look at me, I'm thriving, I'm so zen.
Right.
But the artist argues that real healing isn't glamorous at all. It's just house maintenance. It's scraping off the old paint. It's sanding the floor. It's the boring, unsexy work of keeping your mind functional.
It's just chores. Emotional chores.
Exactly. And part of that maintenance is deciding who gets to live in the house. There's that great line in the bridge. Got so much space since I evicted you.
The biological eviction.
Biological eviction. Explain that.
Wait, I think you mean I should explain it, or?
Well, I can explain it. When you stop ruminating, when you stop looping that tape, you are evicting the person who hurt you from your endocrine system. You are stopping them from living rent-free in your hormones.
Rent-free in your endocrine system. I need that on a t-shirt. It is such a practical way to look at it. Why let someone I despise control my chemical balance?
Precisely. Why let them spike your blood pressure from across town? And that leads to the conclusion of the track, which really sums up this entire philosophy. Understanding the logic makes the feeling sublime.
Understanding the logic makes the feeling sublime. That is a heavy line for a pop song. How do you interpret that?
It means that when you understand the mechanics, the schemas, the cortisol, the neural pathways, you stop fearing your own mind. You replace shame with curiosity. Instead of thinking, I'm broken and crazy, you think, oh, look, I'm looping. My neurons are firing. I know what this is.
And because you know what it is, it's not a monster anymore. It's just a machine.
It demystifies the pain. The pain isn't a spell, it's just biology. And biology can be managed. As lyrics say, you reclaim the power, reclaim the time.
It is really wild when you step back and look at it. We started this deep dive talking about a breakup anthem, and we've ended up with a survival guide for the human brain. Tie-Fi took the messiest, most overwhelming human emotion, heartbreak, and turned it into a system update.
It really is a blueprint. It moves us from the romanticized idea of the portrait artist or the tragic victim to the practical reality of system maintenance. It tells us that moving on isn't just an emotional choice. It's a biological requirement if you want to be healthy.
So for everyone listening, I want you to think about what tapes you might be looping right now. What outdated data is your brain holding on to? Maybe it's a grudge from years ago. Maybe it's a harsh word someone said to you in a meeting last week.
Try to view those grudges not as moral failures, but as system errors. Your brain is trying to protect you with outdated software. It's time for an update.
I cracked the code. It's just a story. I can take it back.
And this raises a final question that I think is really worth chewing on after we wrap up. We often treat our feelings, our heartbreak, our anger, our grief as these sacred, untouchable truths. We think, I feel it, therefore it is who I am.
Right. We identify with the pain. It becomes our identity.
But if, as we've discussed today, these feelings are just predictable biological responses, cortisol loops, neural wiring schemas, does that make them less real? Or does seeing them as just biology finally give us the permission we need to turn them off?
That is a lot to think about. Can we just delete the file? Thank you for listening to this deep dive into the science of letting go. Go check your neural wiring, and we will catch you next time.